Now we're going to set the eyes. We mix up some fresh epoxy off camera. You always want to use fresh epoxy for setting eyes. We're using 18mm glass eyes, again from Mackenzie. This is the NFG series. Sometimes the different styles of eyes that are all measured in millimeter, but they don't always correspond the same way to the fish. What I mean by that is you can have a set of eyes that's 18mm in some styles and it's way too large. In other styles it might be too small, so you want to test it. First thing we're going to do is put a little bit of foam in the eye socket. We don't need to fill this entire eye socket up with epoxy and waste it, because epoxy is relatively expensive. Okay, now that we have the eye socket filled with our epoxy, we'll grab on to one of our eyes. We'll just start pushing it into place. Now when you're setting eyes, you don't want them bugged out too far. You also don't want them flattened back into the head too far like that. You want a slight roll down with the eye. Now some people will take their fish eyes and roll them way down, and that's fine. You can do that. That's more of a net look with a fish eye. Quite often when fish are underwater, their eyes are not rolled as much as they are when you have them in the net. Something to think about. You can just look at some underwater pictures of fish to see that. If you put a slight roll on the eye downwards, you'll also start to see the top of the sclera band on the top of the eye. We'll be rebuilding that mostly with paint. We'll put a little bit of epoxy there now, but we'll recreate that white look later because this eye does not have that. So once I have it set roughly where I want, I just hold it up and take a look at it. Also look at it head on. Make sure I'm getting it where I want it. Looks really good. So now we'll just build epoxy in around the eye. You don't want to put a lot of epoxy here for this step, but you want to put enough that you can spread it around it so you're not seeing any of your juncture area or the rest of the eye socket. You want a smooth flow in. Just work that right around the top part of the eye, smoothing it into everything with my finger. Dab off that excess water so it doesn't raise up any of our scales. Now we'll take our brush and we're going to clean the excess epoxy away from the eye. What we're doing is we're just rounding that eye out. Taking my finger and I'm just cleaning up around it a little bit after I brush it in. You'll have to go back and forth and do that a few times. Just get the excess water off. This also helps to blend that epoxy in. Again, we hold it up, we take a look at it from a number of different angles.